Hey, it's Scott Hamilton from Rockfile Radio, and I'm talking to 100,000. If you haven't checked them out yet, you're going to dig this band. So Greg and Alexander have joined us in the chat. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and say what you do?
I'm Greg. I play guitar and do background vocals. I help Rich out. Rich is the lead vocalist.
And my name's Alex, and also play guitar in 100,000 as well.
So the band kind of came together from started as a one-man project and became a five-piece, and then who had the epic idea to let's do an album based on the Zodiac? Because even Spinal Tap gave this idea up, you know.
So definitely the idea of the Zodiac came from our drummer Kurt, and we were, we had just come off of releasing our first album, Forms in Which They Appear, and we were starting the writing process, and we were in this amazing house overlooking this lake, and we were just, the vibes were unbelievable, and we were starting to write, and we had a couple things like some ideas for Aries and some ideas for Cancer. They weren't called that at that point, and we've always been a fan. We're all into like space and universe and constellations and things like that. So Kurt just had this idea. He's like, what? I've always kind of thought about doing something Zodiac based. And we were looking at the riffs and songs we had already, and they kind of started fitting. The riff for Aries felt very much. Yeah, it's good music, right? I know.
Yeah.
Live.
So the the riff for Aries felt very much like something for Aries. So it all kind of started falling into place a little bit, and just kind of naturally started falling into place, and then we started writing a little more intentionally, like taking a look at what might Virgo sound like or what might Pisces be, and it kind of went from there.
Wow. And then whose idea was it? Was it because of COVID, or was it just an idea to release a song a month?
That was actually like our dream originally. Was like, we would love to do this along the calendar, and we went back and forth between doing that and maybe releasing like 4 EPs that were based off the seasons, or we're just releasing it all at once. And we were kind of dragging our feet on the release, and then we were sitting there, and then COVID happened, and we were like, oh no, oh wait, actually this might be perfect. And so we didn't know it was going to turn into a year plus of lockdown, but it was an eerie parallel to the release of the record. But yeah, we just started, right off the bat with Aries, and just kept that train moving.
Now, I read that some of the themes, and obviously the album was, for the most part done before all of this happened, but the themes now kind of coincide with what we've been going through. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it heavily has themes of anger and fear and loss and love, and even besides just the COVID, I think it kind of became like this life journey, in a way. I think one of the things I took away from it is, it seems like there's a little bit of all of these signs in everybody. There's a little bit of all these traits in every one of us, and all those emotions, whether it's something that's a little more like Cancer is super emotional, like a heavy loss, feeling with that, or getting too much in your own head, or overthinking things, or having fears or paranoia or anger, and some positive emotions on there. But mainly we kind of focused on the more negative qualities when writing this one.
Is that where the edge comes from? I mean, it's a very melodic, it's a great listen, but there is some edgy parts to it. Is that the anger?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we our influences come from far and wide, and I think we're not too much like, we love metal, but none of us are metal heads. None of we love pop, but none of us are so deep in that world. But trying to blend those. And again, it was not trying to do anything too specific. Again, we were trying to follow the signs, but I think one of our biggest things was not trying to overthink, not trying to write something that we thought the audience wanted to hear. If the song ended up being short and heavy, that's great. If it was Capricorn and ended up being 10 minutes where it went on this whole journey from different emotions, then that was the song. So I think our biggest thing was just keeping the spirit of the songs intact, and not trying to trifle with it too much.
Well, here we are in 2021. it's kind of brave to do 10-minute songs in progressive rock metal, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's, you know, I think, you know, we're big fans of Dream Theater and Tool and Carnival, and you know, I think especially seeing bands like that where, you know, they could be really successful doing that and write some songs that are super memorable and become some of the biggest hits from their fans. You know, I think we knew that what we were writing wasn't necessarily going to be accessible to the masses right off the bat, but I also think it's like kind of surprisingly accessible at the same time if people like do dive in and listen to it. Like for us, you know, when we play Capricorn, we always remark that like it's over already. Like that 10 minutes flies by. It doesn't feel like a slog,
Right.
to us. You know, Taurus is straight through and just boom, boom, boom. You know, heavy hitter. You know, right off the bat. So, you know, I think, you know, just trying to maintain the spirit of the songs and, you know, write what felt natural for each sign.
Well, I'm a Gemini, but I didn't want to read too much into the, you know.
Me too, man. That song that was like, you know, Gemini, like feeling undone. Like that song, that song took me the longest to say like, okay, it's ready, it's done. Like I was always like, is this, you know, we're always tough committing and like saying that it's done. That's my biggest problem as a Gemini, is like saying that something's finished or finishing something, and like that song kind of haunted me a little bit in that way.
Well, then, yeah, that fits, doesn't it? Greg, what are you?
I'm a Leo, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
And how do you feel about the song?
I think everyone had its own character and own place in the spectrum of rock and metal in its way, and I think that one in particular was very hit the nail on the head. You know, it ends in this almost heroic, egotistical type of way, and kind of pays tribute to Aries with the lyrics of Funny Bones at the bottom at the end. So there are different ways that we tie in the songs throughout the record. So that was one of the little Easter eggs. I love it.
Yeah, Leo's one that we wanted to have this kind of like, you know, the lion, you know, thinking of like kind of like royal and kind of kingly, like a lion kind of strutting around. You know, that was kind of the thought process behind the riff a little bit. It was a little pompous, a little, you know, but also kind of like maybe like an Emperor's New Clothes kind of thing where, you know, not as great as he thinks it is.
So after a year of this, you finally get like vinyl out there. How did that feel to hold that puppy in your hands?
That's going to be awesome. This would be our first vinyl release and my personal, you know, first vinyl release, which is really exciting. And having it be like a double vinyl thing is super cool. And yeah, we're doing all sorts of, you know, neat stuff with the packaging on that. And our buddy Chris Flannery did a remarkable job with the photography and the photos for each sign. We have a, you know, really cool artwork for every song on there, and he did a great job. So we're gonna have like a really nice high gloss booklet in there that has, you know, the photos and the lyrics and stuff. So really would like that to be, you know, I remember sitting down with albums and having that lyric book in my hand and reading through and having that be an accompanying piece to the record. And you know, I still want to maintain some sense of that, you know, as we go through, having something that's a companion piece.
That's something the younger generation just doesn't get these days. I mean, we've had this vinyl resurgence, so it helps. But I mean, as a kid, I listened to albums, read every liner note and every lyric while I'm listening to the album. And that's how I kind of built up my rock knowledge, you know, without even knowing I was building up some kind of rock knowledge. But
yeah,
that's an experience. It's the whole package of looking at the artwork and kind of digesting it while you're listening to it. And these days with streaming, you might get a little bit of artwork on your phone or computer, you know?
Right. Yeah, and just the whole, you know, I miss getting a CD or a vinyl and tearing the plastic off of it and smelling that smell. Like there is 100% an experience that comes along with that. And now I don't know, they're all that experience is getting like monetized into YouTube reaction videos or
Right.
like ASMR unboxing of things. It's like you don't even have to experience it for yourself anymore. But for the people that want that, I hope that I think it's like you said, it's kind of made a resurgence a little bit, and I think there is an appreciation. I guess, especially more so, I guess, in our genre and in our field. I think fans kind of appreciate that extra little something.
And I think the genre lends itself to the album experience. I mean, that's how I judge a band, even pop bands. The label wants to send me a single. I'm like, send me the album. I want to judge the artist on their entire body of work. And with some artists these days, well, we've got these 3 songs and the rest is kind of filler, and I like that album experience. My favorite bands were Yes and Pink Floyd and Rush. And you listen to the album from beginning to end. That's just how you did it. You sat in the car until it was over, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I was just even like listening to like Dark Side of the Moon, and some other Pink Floyd stuff. Just the other day, I'm doing some ensembles with some students, and I was showing them Breathe, and like that song's so weird because it's a song on its own, but it's such a bigger part of that record and how it like flows. So it's a little odd, like sitting outside of itself, and that's like, not that we planned any singles or anything. We released everything one at a time, but if we had to choose a single, I would have no idea where to even begin. I don't know what I would choose.
And that's going to be difficult when it comes around time to tour. Yes.
Yeah, I think we could definitely diversify our set depending on who, what bands we were playing with, which would be cool. I think we have that ability to really kind of craft a set that can be a little chameleon-like and kind of fit in with a variety of bands. But I guess that's kind of always big, as we continue to grow and evolve, I think we're defining our sound more and more, but we come from so many different backgrounds, and especially with, what Greg brought into the band with this record and his vocal production and the wrinkles of his lead playing and stuff like that, added a whole new layer and wrinkle to what our sound was, and now trying to figure out how to evolve that even more with what we do next.
It's going to be an exciting time when things start opening back up. I'm itchy for a new show. I'm used to going to shows at least once a month, if not much more often. And man, after a year, I'm really itchy.
Oh yeah, as we are too. I mean, we're dying to play. We're going to be doing a live playthrough of the record top down in a few weeks, which we're really looking forward to. Which is going to be like our first time to showcase the record and in a live setting and what that should sound like. But yeah, it's tough. There's a couple of venues that are open around here you can play seated shows, but like honestly, I don't really want to play a show with this music to a seated crowd. That's not
right.
As much as I want to play, that's not the medium for that.
The vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so doing the live the live playthrough, and then itching for that return.
So when does the vinyl drop?
So we just Greg, help me out with that. When does that actually drop now?
So we're still in the pre-order phase, and that's going to stop this Wednesday. So in 2 days, we're combining all the orders, and we're going to start shipping. The vinyl's probably going to take a couple months, as every vinyl does, but so we're looking at probably any time between June and July for everybody to get it in their hands. But they can stream it right now. Damn yes. Right they can.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, this whole record has it's heavy in depth of how it feels when you listen to it. So it's not like it's going to disappear in the next couple of months. I think people have a lot to unpack and digest for the next year, 2 years, and hopefully it stands the test of time. So I think they'll be itching for the vinyl by the time it gets to them, but they're not going to be craving it like, oh, I just want my vinyl already. There's a lot to unpack.
I agree. This is that's why we're speaking today. I gave it a listen. I'm like, wow, this deserves a little bit of depth. Let's talk to these guys, see what's going on here.
Nice.
I appreciate that stuff.
But it is a solid album, and I know what you guys are up against, man. I'm doing a progressive rock radio station on the internet and hoping people listen to it, and I'm thankful they are, and thankful we've been here for 9 years, but finding guys like you who are still keeping this kind of genre alive, thank you. Thank you for the music.
Hey,
Thank you. Same to you, man.
to you, man. We need people that love it and listen to it. So, yeah, no, we appreciate that. We've been having a blast writing it, and the reception, over the last year has been awesome. It's been a great year. I mean, not overall, it's been a bad year, with COVID, but for, it's been great to get it out, and the response, from fans and stuff has been, just, it's been flooring, in a way. It's just awesome to see people that really love it, and everyone, again, I think again, there's not one particular song that seems to be the one that everyone likes. Everyone kind of is either gravitating towards their own sign or finding something to take away from it, and I think that's kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted to, as it, I don't know if that was totally our intention in the very beginning, but as we, as it became more real, it started to feel, like a life journey, one of the things, realizing that I think there's a little bit of all of these signs in everybody, that this whole record kind of is the ebbs and flows of life, and there's bright moments and dark moments and fears and all these things. It feels like life, in a way, and I think that's I can always hang my hat, and I think we can always hang our hat that we created something that we feel embodies the human experience and tells a story.
It's a pretty epic project to tackle, and you guys did it band that's been around for 20 years. So congratulations on the album. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Scott.
So for you guys, when COVID, kind of starts receding and we get back to normal, what do you miss? What do you want to go do personally?
Greg, you first. Well, I just want to travel more, man. We want to hit the road. We want to go. We don't want to go to Brazil. There seems to be so many damn people in Brazil that that want to see this, in Portugal and anywhere South America. We just want to hit everything and just do this for real on the road. Now that there's a real audience that wants it, so for me it's that. I want to consume all the food everywhere. So
that's one of the best parts of traveling, right? Eating.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I'm a big foodie. So.
Greg always finds the best spots too. Greg is the foodie man in the band. I mean, that guy, he's always finding good spots.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the touring immediately. That's about it.
Yeah, playing shows. I'm itching to just play some of this stuff live. And also going to see shows. I mean, I was so excited for Deftones, Gojira, and Poppy, which was going to be an awesome tour last year, and I had my tickets ready to go, and still have them sitting in my Ticketmaster account because I'm hoping it comes back. But
it is back.
It is. Wait, it's happening?
Yeah. So as of now,
yeah, I got to check. They didn't email me or anything. So
yeah. Oh, we're still going. I'm going on your shoulders.
I had great seats for Tool in Miami, and I got refunded.
Oh man!
And all the people who had tickets to Rage and stuff, and
I know.
So there were so many good shows getting ready. So I can't wait to get back and see some of that. I still haven't been to a movie theater. I'm a huge movie fan. I love going to going to see films and
eating popcorn when the lights go down. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it's a bummer too. One of the best independent kind of movie theater companies, Alamo Drafthouse, which is really cool and does a lot of horror and indie stuff and does it really, really well. They went out of business, unfortunately. So it's definitely a bummer. But going to see films and traveling and playing, just getting back to normal life.
Playing rock and roll.
Yeah, playing a little metal, rocking out. I want to hear that, feel the amp. Feel the stage.
The vibrations, brother.
Exactly.
When the lights go down and the dry ice is out there and the hair on your arm go
exactly.
up.
Exactly. Get that nervous. I need to get that nervous butterflies in the stomach a little bit. Have that. That sense of real, human connection and playing something live. That's something we've been working really hard on. This record, not only recording it was, that when we recorded it, we were like, we're going to make every sound possible. We're not going to worry about how we're going to execute this live. We're going to make this record, and if this is the sound, that's the sound, and we'll worry about it later. And
dude, that's the classic producer argument. You want this album to sound amazing, or you want to be able to produce it live? Because that comes later, and that's the hard part.
And that, yeah, and you know, Shane Stanton, who co-produced it with us and did mixing and engineering, like he was a huge part in kind of shaping the sound of this record overall and making the transitions and everything, and was a big part of really putting this whole package together. And that's something that he always kind of stressed was that, you know, it has to serve the record and the art, you know, first, and worry about the live later. And that's what we did. And actually, you know, really excitingly, like, we've done a really good job of, I think, implementing a lot of that. We actually just did a really awesome playthrough the whole record yesterday, right down over here, and we were like getting, you know, hair on our arms, you know, standing up a little bit with just
Nice.
like how close it was sounding to the record. So we're feeling really good about that. So I think when we do our live playthrough of this record, and which we'll be doing in May, you know, I think people will get to see that and experience that a little bit, hopefully.
All right, left field question. Why is the band called 100,000?
So that actually, we when we first set out to create the name, we didn't want a name that put us in any one particular genre, like right off the bat. We also didn't want to like do like a verb, the noun name, or, you know, kind of like
Bloody death. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You know,
Kind of locks you into like a one sound.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, we didn't. Our influencers were so wide, and, you know, figuring out our sound, we didn't want anything that kind of tied us into one genre. So 100,000 was like a, you know, cool, like abstract measurement that's like used in a lot of old, like esoteric kind of, you know, measurements and things in the universe. And it also had a cool sign, like the Roman numerals, like a C with a line over it. So we were doing that for a little bit. Yeah, so that was kind of the idea behind that, just something like a little abstract that would make you say, what is this? What is this band? And, you know, hopefully that's, you know, maybe, I don't know, some people are probably like, who is this? I don't know what this band is. I don't know.
Well, the music does the talking, and it talks very loudly.
Oh, thanks, Scott. That's awesome.
Well, guys, thanks for taking the time out today. We're spinning a couple of the songs now, so thanks for sending it over. And well, let's talk again when things start getting normal and talk about the plans of what's next for 100,000.
Yeah, so I will say stay tuned. We are actually, so in some circles there's the belief that there's a 13th sign called a fucus. And so we actually have a new song that we're going to be going into the studio later this month, and we're going to be tracking that, and that's hopefully going to come out probably almost around the time of the vinyl, June, July. And that'll be a cool, like, kind of tie-in and segue, not officially part of the Zodiac record, but a cool segue into kind of what we're going to be going into next. And so,
sweet.
Yeah, so look forward to that. And yeah, we're just as long as we can't play and be touring, we're gonna try to be churning out tunes and trying to write. So that's the next plan. We're happy with this record, but we're also hungry to create more stuff.
Got to get that art out there.
Yep. And you know, we wrote the record, you know, 4 years ago at this point. So, you know, given everything of last year, we have a lot to say, and I think there's going to be a lot of new stuff that's going to be coming out.
Greg, Alexander, great to talk to you today. A lot of fun. Let's do it again.
Thank you so much.
Right, Scott.
Awesome. Thank you again.
brother.
Appreciate it.
Good luck with the album, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Yes,
Take
sir.
care. Have a great week. See ya.